In the quiet town of Maple Ridge, where the streets were peaceful and everyone waved when they passed by, lived two young men who had never met but were closer than they ever imagined, because they loved the same girl. Her name was Emily Carter. Emily wasn't the most popular girl in town. She didn't come from a rich home or a big family, but she had a warm smile that made people feel seen, and a gentle voice that could calm the loudest storm. She was kind, friendly, and always tried to make everyone around her feel important. The first young man was Michael Hayes. Michael grew up on the north side of Maple Ridge, where life was simple and families stayed close. He was a quiet, respectful guy who worked part-time at a local shop while studying in community college. He wasn't flashy, but he had a good heart, and Emily liked that about him. One slow summer afternoon, as the sun warmed the sidewalks and kids rode bikes down the street, Michael asked Emily if she wanted to be his girlfriend. He was nervous, his voice shaking, but Emily smiled and said yes. And just like that, a young love began. For months, everything was good. They went on long walks, shared milkshakes, watched movies at the local theater. They didn't have much, but they had each other. Michael always made sure Emily felt safe, cared for, and understood. The second young man. Across town lived Daniel Brooks. Daniel was different from Michael. He was confident, outgoing, the type of guy who could walk into a room and instantly grab attention. He lived with his older sister and helped her at her small restaurant. Everyone knew Daniel as the charming guy who always had something funny to say. Daniel had seen Emily around town many times. At the grocery store, at the diner, at the bus stop. He always noticed her smile, the way she laughed softly, the way she carried herself. One day, when Emily happened to walk into the restaurant, Daniel finally talked to her. And from that moment something inside him changed. He wanted to know more about her, wanted to be part of her world. What Daniel didn't know was that Emily already had a boyfriend. But after weeks of talking, laughing, and spending time together, he eventually asked her to be his girlfriend. And Emily said yes. The discovery. Michael found out a few days later. He walked into school and saw Daniel walking beside Emily, holding her books. Emily looked surprised, but Daniel looked proud. Michael felt his stomach drop. His hands shook. The girl he loved, his girlfriend, was walking with another guy like they were together. When he confronted her later that day, he wasn't angry at first. He was hurt, confused, lost. "Why would you do this, Emily?" he asked, his voice breaking. "Why didn't you talk to me?" Emily had no good answer. She didn't want to hurt anyone. She wasn't trying to play with their hearts. She just felt confused, caught between the calm love she had with Michael and the exciting attention Daniel gave her. But the truth was simple. She said yes to two hearts without thinking of the cost. The competition begins. Without meaning to, Emily became the center of a silent battle. Michael started doing everything he could to remind her how much he cared. Walking her home, leaving her sweet notes, surprising her at school with her favorite snacks. Daniel noticed everything. And he refused to lose. If Michael bought her flowers, Daniel bought her a necklace. If Michael took her to the movies, Daniel took her out to dinner. If Michael wrote her a letter, Daniel wrote her a poem. Every day it became more intense. More gifts, more attention, more effort. Both young men were trying so hard that they didn't realize they were losing themselves in the process. Emily felt torn. Two good guys, two different hearts, two different kinds of love, and she couldn't choose. She tried to smile, tried to be calm, but inside she felt troubled and guilty. She never wanted a fight. She never asked for it. But it had begun, and she didn't know how to stop it. The breaking point. One cold evening in early winter, Michael and Daniel finally confronted each other. They met on the sidewalk outside Emily's house. Their breaths turned to clouds in the freezing air. "You need to stop," Michael said quietly. "No," Daniel replied. "You stop. She likes me. She told me." "She's only confused," Michael shot back. "You don't know her heart like I do. And maybe you don't know her as well as you think," Daniel said. It didn't turn into a fight. No shouting, no pushing. Just two broken hearts standing under a streetlight, realizing they were hurting each other more than helping themselves. Emily watched from her window, tears running down her face. She never wanted this. She didn't want to be the reason two good men were breaking apart. The decision. A week later, Emily made a choice. But not the one either of them expected. She called both of them and asked to meet at the small town park. They showed up, standing at opposite sides, waiting nervously. Emily took a deep breath, her voice shaking. "I can't keep doing this," she said. "You're both amazing. You're both kind. And you both showed me more love than I ever asked for. But I'm not ready for this. I don't want to hurt anyone anymore." Michael's heart sank. Daniel looked down at his shoes. "I'm choosing myself," Emily said softly. "I'm not choosing either of you." Silence filled the air. Cold, heavy, painful silence. She walked away with tears in her eyes, leaving two young men standing there, each holding the pieces of a love that never had a chance to grow the right way. Years later, life went on. Michael moved to another city, started his own small business, and healed slowly. Daniel traveled for a while, worked in different towns, and learned more about himself. Emily finished school, found a job she loved, and eventually met someone. A gentle, patient man who never tried to compete with anyone for her heart. She married him on a warm spring afternoon under an open sky. Michael and Daniel heard about it years later. They weren't angry. They weren't bitter. They just smiled softly, remembering a time when they fought so hard for the same girl. Not realizing that love isn't something you win by competing. Love is something that grows on its own. The lesson. In the end, all three of them learned something important. You can give someone your heart, but you can't force them to choose you. You can try your best. But sometimes life has a different plan. And sometimes the person you think you can't live without is part of your story, not your ending. If this story touched you, please subscribe for more inspiring videos. Don't forget to subscribe for more emotional and motivational stories. Hit the subscribe button so you never miss the next story.